Hey everyone, it's Gamer Edie once again. Third time today, 3 of 4.
It's a hat trick of Spreakers.
So far. What is it and you get 4?
That's a Texas hat trick.
Really?
Yep.
Seriously? That's what it's called?
No joke. 4 goals is a Texas hat trick.
All right.
Well, 4 of anything.
All right, so that's Holy Goalie. I'm Edie Sellers, Gamehounds, and we are recapping, just finished up the Ubisoft E3 2013 press conference. A lot longer than I thought it would be. Almost an hour and 15 minutes. God, it was almost as much as the other guys. Microsoft. My brain is starting to shut down. I have yet to eat. I have yet to shower. So my brain is like, fuck this noise. But we are going to recap what we wrote down and what we saw and what we thought. Really vast amount of stuff offered by Ubisoft.
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything and nothing, and I don't know. It's well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I will say this to start this off, since we should always start with the big news. Freaking that Watch Dogs looks awesome.
Yes. However, I don't want to be the turd in the punch bowl. I don't want to be that guy.
Okay.
But to me, and I've been saying this since we saw it in Boston, okay?
Yeah.
This could be wicked confusing and complicated to play.
Sure. I think that there's entirely that possibility. But at the same time, I also see it as being a potential of being worthwhile, even if it's complicated to play.
It could
worthwhile.
When I was thinking there is when he was, being arrested by the police in the video, and he had hands above his head, and he clicks on his thing and shuts off the lights. It's like, what came to mind was, okay, you're arrested, and you have to, much like Fallout, where you had to stop, go into your data thing, find what to do, then do it. I see a lot of those moments coming in the game where you absolutely have to stop, go into a device and figure out what you want to do. Either that, or it's completely the opposite, where it says hit X to shut off lights.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be the second. You
see what I'm saying with that? Because you see when he was trapped by the police.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're at a moment you have to do something, and turning out the lights, you can get away. So how are they going to accomplish that to the game player? How are you going to turn out the lights? Is it going to be hit X? Will you have a choice of 4 things, or do you got to stop and pause, go into a menu on your gamepad?
I have never had a hard time with Ubisoft's controls. I know that you did not like some of the controls in Assassin's Creed, but I have always found, first Assassin's Creed was a little bit on the wonky side, but they smoothed that out later. So I have great faith that they are going to make this easy to use. And for me, that story is so compelling that it just is sick. And of course, the other high point ended up with a new IP that we have not heard about. They're called Tom Clancy's The Division. That looks awesome.
It did. And again, did you see the menus when he called it up? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was like the menu at Kowloon.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's okay. I want to go here. I want to go to my skills. I want to go to my world map. I want to go here. I'm going to go follow this tree. I was like, holy guacamole.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I know you don't like it, but I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, maybe if it ramps you up a little bit, but when it throws you in at that point, you're like, man, if I got to stop and scroll through 9 menus, I'm going to be stopping every 30 seconds to do something.
Yeah. And it is a PvP online open world RPG. Looks amazing.
Yeah, that's weird.
And downside for me right now, I hope against hope that I would see not Dead or Alive. Fuck. What's the one with Jade? Chat room go. The one with Jade. Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil. I was hoping against hope that we might get something. But no. So, looks like another year without another Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah. All right. So, well, I didn't write anything down. Did you write anything down?
I wrote the whole damn thing.
Well, let's start off by saying, if memory serves me correctly, this is the same chick that was with Ubisoft last year.
She's good.
she's horrible.
You did. Oh, you didn't see the ones before.
I didn't like her last year, and I didn't like her this year.
Oh, she's so much better than what's his bucket.
You know what it is she's
Park and Rec.
Very arrogant.
Yeah.
And she comes across like, I'm just going to walk through this room and step on everybody, and I'm going to try to be funny, and you're going to laugh because I say so. And she doesn't pull it off. And I said this last year, too, because I was like, oh, I hate this person. I don't like what – and I was like, it's the same one from last year. Because I had the same bitch about Ubisoft last year.
Yeah.
Was the presentation – it was – we're walking. It was talking down to me, She was just talking down to me the entire time, and I fucking hate that.
You just don't like strong women. That's your problem.
I don't like strong anybody, women or men. If that was a
you need to go back to like, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? What was his name? The guy that was, what was his name that did the old one? Oh, he was horrible. So she is definitely an improvement.
That was bad. Yeah. Oh, she's an improvement over that guy. I remember watching that guy, and he was trying to be funny. He was just like, it'd be better if he just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry, but just I had to say that the arrogant people, and just there's a certain air to her that just her shit didn't stink, and she knew it, and she, and those people, they turned me off immediately. So I had a high when she walked off stage. That was the best part of the show. Just like, good, let's get a normal person out here and just let whomever just talk to me like I'm a normal person. Don't talk down to me like you're God. And that's what she did. But anyway, so getting on to the games.
Yeah, so this year, starting off, and it was, a really awesome way to start it off. Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains coming in, playing a little bit, and debuting Rocksmith 2014 edition, which is Kinect enabled as far as setting things up and talking to it, which is really cool because you have a guitar in your hand. You don't want to have to put down your guitar to pick up your controller to be able to make decisions in the menus. But the big thing that they debuted was session mode, which creates a virtual band behind you when you play, and the game's virtual band will react to the way that you're playing. So it essentially is an AI band.
I missed that, actually.
You did?
I was trying to find the feed. Okay, so I'm like taking out iPad.
Yeah, I should have gone to GameSpot. GameSpot was the place to see it.
Well, actually, I ended up going on Twitch or Twicker or whatever that one, something TV,
Twitch
TV. Yeah, so that's I finally got there, but it was right after that, so I missed that whole thing. So I'm gonna have to let you in the chat room talk about that.
Thomas Brown says Joel McHale. Yeah, that's the dude. God, he was annoying, Mr. Caffeine. Anyway, yeah, I hated him too, but. Rocksmith 2014 edition. Yeah, that session mode, you essentially can pick out a 4-piece band to go behind you when you play. It's going to be reacting to the way that you play. It looks awesome, and it really kind of shows off the things that the new next-gen consoles can do that can't be done with current gen consoles. All of the computing power, especially when you're considering music, all the computing power that takes to be able to be essentially true artificial intelligence when it comes to that kind of stuff. So he did say that it's coming out October 2013. Alice in Chains' new single Stone is also going to be on the game. So yeah, it looked awesome, and I'm sorry that you missed it because I think that it would make you really crazy for it, because they made a point of saying that this is a great thing because it gets guitars into people's hands, and it truly is the fastest way to learn how to play guitar at this point. I don't know about that, but it looked like a very compelling way. Makes you, because the thing about learning music, practice. You've got to practice, and this is a way to make your practice so much more dynamic than just sitting in front of the guitar and just strumming the same thing over and over again.
I was actually talking to the wife the other day about getting an electronic drum set and me trying to learn drums. She's like, why can't you just play the Rock Band drums? I says, well, 4 little circular pads is really not.
No. Go get yourself an electronic drum set. I will show you how to set it up so that you can make it a Rock Band controller. That's what Kevin did.
Oh, yeah, there was one that had that.
Yeah, in fact, I think we have a box that will do that we were trying to sell at the yard sale, and getting rid of it. So we may have an extra one for you, depending on, I don't know how if it'll work with what you get. But yeah, there's ways to make your electronic trials work.
I can try to make it work.
So the next item that they brought up was, of course, one of Goalie's favorites was Splinter Cell Blacklist, due out August 20th, 2013. So that's just right around the corner. Multiple co-op missions. Spies versus Mercs multiplayer returns. Did you see that one?
I did see some of that. I was actually making dinner when that was on, so I was kind of in and out. I will say that, boy, they had an odd mix of games between the Splinter Cell, and then they had Assassin's Creed, and then they had the Division, and then Watch Dogs, and then at the other flip of the coin, they got all these little cartoon kids games that were driving me friggin' nuts. It's really weird. It's like having a channel on TV that shows porn and Sesame Street.
Right.
It was really crazy.
Yeah. So, do you think you're interested in it? Do you think you're going to get it?
In Splinter Cell?
Yeah.
Oh, I already got a deposit on it.
Really?
Yeah.
You're that sure, huh?
Well, from what I saw at PAX East, I really liked it. It seemed like, in fact, I actually talked to one of the girls there about it. I was like grilling her with questions. You're like, how old are you? What's your phone number? I'm kidding. I was grilling her about Splinter Cell, telling her how I hated the last one because it was out in the daylight. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Splinter Cell.
Right.
And she's kind of like, yeah, we kind of went back to what made Splinter Cell good, which was stealth, darkness, and then we brought back that co-op mode. So she was saying all the things that I wanted to hear about Splinter Cell. Good. And then when I saw the video, I was like, it kind of did confirm a little bit of what she was saying. So that, I forget what that other one was called, but I just remember even the video was like, he was outside. I didn't even get it. That's
right.
how.
It was Splinter Cell. What was it? I played it.
He was like in the middle of the day, like jumping over crates, shooting guys, wrestling them in the middle of the day. There was no Splinter Cell to it. It might as well just have been a fight game, Far Cry or something.
Yeah. No, next one that they brought up, Rayman's Legends, September 3rd, 2013. Competitive multiplayer modes, plural, which is kind of interesting. I did not realize that. Maybe other Raymans have. I've not been a big Rayman's fan, but I know that thing is damn hard. And it is a platformer that looks like it's coming back and going to be screaming across your television set anytime soon. Do you care? I don't care. I don't care at all. Rayman stuff. So this is where I wish Nick was here, because I know he's a fan of these kind of games that I don't dig. I'm not a big platformer.
He likes those.
And Rayman's is a really good platform. But it looks like bringing in kind of legendary beasts, and I couldn't quite figure out, like, is it modern Legends? Is it old Legends? Wasn't quite sure where it was going, but if you were a Rayman fan, I'm sure you were very excited.
Mm.
Then detailed a new game, which has my favorite title so far that I've heard from any upcoming new game, The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. And they had Louis-Pierre Ferrand come out to talk about it, and it's kind of a brutal capitalist society. It's definitely cartoony, definitely heavy on the humor, a lot of slapstick. But the premise is it looks like it's multiplayer, and there are castles in the sky, and you get a castle, and you build up your castle, and you build up your defenses, then you fill it full of deadly creatures, and that protects your castle. Once your castle is protected, then you can go out into other castles, and you need to essentially infiltrate their castles, get to their treasure room, and steal their loot. If you manage to do it, then you get to leave a message behind to say, haha, stole your loot, or whatever you want to write. So the whole point is to protect your own loot while stealing everybody else's. And it's in closed beta now. Did you see that one, Goalie? Please tell me you did.
I saw some of it. I remember them gold pieces going everywhere and this and that.
You didn't see the very end where the guy was cussing over the walls? You just if you don't like it, you completely check out, don't you?
Yeah, when I first see it, if it was really cartoony and kid looking, I'm just
journalistic integrity. You just watch it just to make sure.
Because if I'm not going to play it and I just don't care, it's like if they put basketball highlights on. I'm not going to talk about basketball highlights.
Well, if you're talking, if you know you're going to talk about it, you have a journalistic obligation.
But again,
to watch
I've been watching all day. I've been doing my part. I was trying to eat dinner and talk to the wife and watch this at the same time. And I watched the important ones. Ones like this, I don't consider important, and I
think that this one is important. This one looks very, very cool, and it looks like this whole. In fact, both of the game developers, EA and Ubisoft, were both getting into this this multiplayer thing. It seems like they're really, really amping up the multiplayer and the cross-platform to your tablets, so that you can, because they're optimizing the new consoles.
Yeah, everybody seems to be integrating the tablets in somehow, and I like that. And this is what we were talking about with EA, is that I've been waiting to see why I should buy the next gen, and if they're integrating tablets this much, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Nick DiNicola in the chat room says you at least got to admit it looks beautiful. I'm assuming you're talking about the Stick of Truth or the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. I don't know for sure, but he says that Epic Loot looks like a funny version of Castle Doctrine. It's also a free-to-play game. Makes me wonder if it's going to be to the 360. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, but the next item that they brought up, next game, was South Park Stick of Truth by Obsidian.
Yeah, it didn't show any gameplay. It just showed a fire.
No. But they say holiday season. They seem to say this holiday season.
Yeah.
Cartman said maybe next holiday season, some holiday season. You know how video games are.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
It also has, it's one of those elephants in the room that they inherited that game from THQ. They didn't really get it. Do it on their own.
I'm hoping, like I said, I saw some things for it. I mean, a lot of times the games like The Simpsons. And things like that, where they're famous TV shows and there is an actual setting for the game. Sometimes you like to roam around and see the settings in the game that you see on TV. Like The Simpsons was great because you could go from the school to their house to the Quickie Mart, and that's all the stuff you saw in the game. So you actually could drive there or walk there in the game, and that was kind of cool. It's like, you feel like you're part of it. And I remember I think it was the last E3 when they talked about it, they said that they didn't have all that mapped out yet because it was always just a cutscene to somebody's house or to a school.
Right.
So they actually had to, for the first time in 10 and 12 years, map out South Park. They've never had to map it out. It just cut to wherever you went to go. So now, because it's a game, they have to actually, map it out and say, well, if you go left and you go right, this is
where you're going to be.
Yeah. So I hope they make it so you can walk around and, obviously it can't be open world per se, but it would be nice to kind of poke around and see some of the sites we've been watching for 10 to 12 years, as well as do some missions or whatever. But there wasn't any gameplay showed.
Right. But we did hear about the Nagasaki fart.
Yep.
And I'm sure that's already going to be out in the Twitterverse, the Nagasaki fart.
Yeah, well, that's another thing she tried. She kept trying to push all these hashtags and whatever. And
that's her job.
She was trying too hard. I didn't like it.
Well, you don't like strong gamer women.
No.
She doesn't look like a woman who would laugh at your dick jokes.
On a sidebar over here, the announcer for the Boston Bruins on TV is the same thing as her. Yeah, he makes it about him. And you're watching the game, and he interjects himself with a catchphrase. Hoping it catches on, and I hate him. I hate listening to the game that this guy broadcasts, and it's the same thing as this woman here. It's just she just interjects herself into it and tries to be above the game for those few moments, and it's just, no, you should describe the action, and not be the action, and that's what this guy does. So I'm being fair here, but anyway, So Nagasaki fight, whatever, run with it if you want. I could care less.
Next item is The Crew, which is a new, it's going to be a next-gen title introduced by
is that
the CEO.
Racing one?
The four-man teams MMO racing game. It's coming out early 2014. That looks cool.
Yeah, but that started off. I couldn't tell what it was because it was in a dingy like garage or basement or something. And then you see the tire roll, and I said, "Ooh, it's got to be a racing game." And then it turned into the racing stuff. I was like, is this? And I'm trying to, like I said, I'm getting tired. So I was like, is this Forza? Is this Need for Speed? What is this going to be? Then all of a sudden, boom! It's like, no, it's none of them. It's the Crew.
I'm sorry. I'm eating, so go ahead and while you keep talking while you chew.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was your typical racing trailer showing a bunch of racing and this and that and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, it had all the arrows over the cars showing who was what, and then they merged into a single block to show that they were part of a group, and then they cut out. It was the Crew. So it's I don't know if it's a co-op or a player versus player or what it is, but it's some
both.
Sort of,
it's an MMO. You have a 4-man crew that is your crew. It seems like it's a true drop in, drop out. So your single player experience can go multiplayer just instantaneously. Just you invite somebody and they're in your game. You are looking to seek to take over a criminal organization one city at a time. There's varied open driving and sharing. You can share and complete challenges and compete against your friends as well. But in these 4-man crews, like say you need help to finish a mission, you can call in 3 of your friends. You do it as a 4-man crew. But remember, there are other 4-man crews that are also out there looking to take you out. So it's competitive and cooperative. You can play it solo. That's okay. But any solo mission, you can immediately make co-op by inviting a friend. They drop in. You're dropped into the multiplayer. There's no lobby. There's no creating a lobby. Can you come in and sitting around and waiting for everybody to join? You just stay where you are. Invite them in. Boom, they're in.
It looked good, and Nick was just posting up here about he didn't expect a racing MMO for consoles, and Nick and everybody else, there's actually a lot of MMOs coming out for these new consoles, and this is one of my things on my wish list. Remember we talked about stuff on wish lists? MMOs coming to consoles, and they don't have to be monstrous like the PC because they can't. I get that, but some semblance of an MMO coming to consoles that goes along with the tablet integration. This will get me excited about next generation consoles.
Yeah, because now they actually have the power to be able to support, and I think they're going to be very massive by the sound of it. Yep. This game alone, it takes place all over the United States, and then when it pulled back, it showed you the map.
Yeah, the whole United States.
Yeah, the whole United States and all the different crews that were out there. It was pretty darn impressive, but it is apparently persistent world. And you can customize your car like crazy to allow you to strip your car down. And when you strip it down, you can actually strip it right to the chassis and then rebuild it for a specific purpose, whether you want to be a street racer, have a street racing mission or an off-road mission or whatever. You can actually customize your car for that specific purpose and a specific role within the crew. So you can strip it down to nothing, put it all back.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm kind of liking now, though, because, from the first, press conference a few weeks ago, and then even through today a little bit, I wasn't seeing the next gen. I wasn't seeing that put to good use. And now it's slowly, as you peel back some of the layers, you're seeing that. Am I running out to pre-order? No, because I still don't know which way I'm going to go. But I'm finally seeing that good. They're putting the more powerful processor in units to good use.
Right. And
I really
Jason
wasn't
Webb,
afraid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Jason Webb says, can you drive to Hawaii? I don't think so. I did not see Hawaii on that map.
No, I didn't see it either. I think it was continental. But yeah, my fear was that they were putting way too much time into all of the fluff and not the games. And finally, there's a little ray of light coming through the window that says, yes, we are going to make better games, and they're going to be compatible with tablets and MMOs on consoles and things that I really wanted to see, not TV and Duck Dynasty.
Right. In fact, speaking of the tablets, that you can customize your car on an iPad and then upload it, and it's immediately available in the game, so that you've got it there in the game for you. So you can work on it, on your way home from work, and then when you get home, you walk in the door, and there's the car.
What was it? Was it the last Ghost Recon that did that you could get on the iPad and customize your gun, or it was one of those games. I don't know if it was Call of Duty or Ghost Recon, but you could
And
customize.
it had Gunsmith. I think that's what they called it,
Yeah,
right?
the Gunsmith. Yeah, it was either that or it was the Call of Duty that you could go on there and customize your loadouts and all this other stuff on your iPad, and then you go into your game, and there it is.
Gamer Girl asks, did you make it on time? Yes, you did, Gamer Girl. We're here, and so are you. So what was that? Was Gunsmith was in which game? Chat room go.
Yeah, that was Ghost Recon Gunsmith, I think.
I think it was Ghost Recon.
There was also another game that you could do the loadout, meaning that you could say, okay, I want this gun with this thing on it, and I want grenades, and I want something else. I thought there was another game you could set your loadouts. Maybe it was Battlefield. Was it Battlefield?
I think so.
That you could go online?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Chat room go. They said they did that with one of the Forza games for the 360.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Nick says Ghost Recon. Yeah, that was the Gunsmith. Was Ghost Recon.
What was maybe it was Far Cry 3? I don't know. There was one you went to their website and you played around, and I thought you could do it on the iPad too, and you could set your loadouts. Oh no, wait, what was the maybe it was Far Cry 3.
Maybe. No.
Remember when we played the co-op missions there?
Mm-hmm.
And you could, I think you could set your loadouts on that online.
Oh, yes. And then you could download the those packs. You could have the decryption of information that would allow you to get the loadouts. Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was one of those. Yeah. So that was kind of the foreskin, whatever, of what's going on in the new console.
All right, next.
That I like.
Yep.
I do like that.
Yep. So,
is there any way we can block Nick? Does Nick need a call?
No, Nick is helpful. He's the one that actually knows the answers to the questions because we don't. Because we're stupid.
Nick is like, if you have a headache, Nick is like a bottle of Tums.
No, if
you eat aspirin and you get Tums for your stomach. It's like, no, I need aspirin for my head.
No. Nick is the balm, is the salve to my sunburn. He is. Next one was Watch Dogs. Do we need to say any more? Do we need to say anything more about that game? It looks goddamn awesome. Goalie's concerns about the controls withstanding, I think that even if those controls require me to stand on my goddamn head, I will play that fucking game because it is so goddamn compelling.
And I said this before. This has potential of being a very unique and huge game. My concern is how do you pull all that off? That's my concern. It might be too big. It might be too big. There's so much going on.
I'm sorry. Keep talking. I don't want to talk with my mouth full. For once, one time you stop freaking talking, it's when I have a mouthful of roast beef.
Oh. All right, I could go so many places from there, but I will stay on point.
My mouth is clear now. All right, so
So my concern with that game is that it looks awesome, but when you're walking around and you can literally tap into anybody and tap into any machine and turn off lights, if you have 100 options, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think that you're reading too much into it. Obviously, they've got something stripped down so that it's playable. Otherwise, they won't be putting it out. Nick says, I know everything. I am everything. I am eternal. You can never get rid of me. Kind of like the plague.
It's kind of like that turd you keep flushing and it
just won't go down.
It's like, come on, we just got on. It's just like hanging on and hanging on.
So Gamer Girl is asking, how are you guys talking together? Not quite sure what you mean. We're on Spreaker. That's what Spreaker does.
Well, we're on Skype.
Oh yeah, we're talking on Skype through Spreaker. Right. Next one was Just Dance 2014, 6-player dances and on stage mode, which looks like it means that you have backup dancers behind you. 2 people are backing up one person who's like the center dancer. Just Dance DJ, which allows you to select the next song, and something that happened super fast, and was gone. And if you didn't know what you were looking at, you wouldn't notice it. Party Master, which they used a controller on the Wii U, which looks like it controlled the next move. So the person could play on the Wii U, taking the gamepad of the Wii U, and be able to say, okay, I want to do 4 beats of this, and then the 2 people or 3 people that were dancing in front would have to repeat it. It's kind of like Simon Says. Well, not even Simon Says. It's just it's you're making the dance.
Almost like Twister.
It's like, yeah. Oh, that what. I am so not a dancing game person, much less Just Dance, which I consider a bad ripoff of that other game, Dance Central. But that was awesome and a perfect example of a new way of using this stuff, finding the functionalities of these new controllers, especially with the Wii U. It was very exciting to see somebody actually using the Wii U chat pad for something other than just, drawing pictures of penises.
Yeah, that was neat because it did look like someone was on the iPad or whatever pad, and they were like putting up what move should be next or what song was coming up. And basically it was like, spinning the dial in Twister. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in fact, that was one of the first and few, I don't want to call it Connect or Move, whatever it is, but one of those, Connect type games. There really wasn't a lot of those. Mm-mm. And there wasn't any 3D. So can we put the fork in 3D? I
hope so. Well, no, we're going to find out about that tonight because you know who the big backer of 3D is. Sony.
I thought you were going to say Domino's.
Gamer Girl says, it looks like she's having issues. So, you know what, Gamer Girl? Let's chat offline. Send me an email.
And send me a picture.
No. Send me an email at gamehounds@gmail.com. I'll try to help you with why you're having issues with your Spreaker / Skype stuff.
It could be actually when I tried to do a show with a friend of mine, he sounded like a troll, like that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, all that. I'm like, no, something's wrong. And so he went on a different laptop and we did the show. And come to find out, he had some sort of a setting set on to make him sound like a low voice.
That's weird.
Yeah, so maybe she should check her control panel to her audio settings and see if there's anything on there that changes the pitch. That's what it was. It was a pitch shift.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't even know you could pitch shift.
So because you can sound like a chipmunk or you can sound like an orc or what, but it's all with just changing the pitch of the octave of the sound. And no kidding. He finally went in there and played around and says, "Yep, for some reason that box was checked." So he thought he sounded good, but it went out and it was all changed.
Right. So the next title that came up in the lineup was Rabbids Invasion TV show.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I agree with you, Goalie.
It's a Nick game. It's a
Nickelodeon game. It's actually I thought it looked lame. It is a Rabbids Invasion television show, which is going to debut through Télévision Française and Nickelodeon. And you will watch it on television, but you will also, through the Kinect, be able to actually play games with the television show online. And I guess they showed us several of them, one that were interactive missions using the motion controllers, puzzles to solve with your voice, like an observation game. Like if you see something, or observation game, you'd see something first and they're looking for the chicken, and you could use your fingers to point up at where the chicken was on the screen through the Kinect. And then when the Rabbids would yell and scream, you would yell and scream too, and you would help them because you were adding your voice to the Rabbids. And Gamer Girl is gamehounds@gmail.com. So that honestly looked goddamn lame. The show looked lame. The controls looked bad. Even the kids like trying to throw eggs at the Rabbids. And the eggs did not look like they were part of the screen. They were kind of like overlaid, so they had a different texture to them. It just looked bad. And I wish that would go away. I hope that that's going to fail, but it probably will succeed because little kid stuff.
You know what I was thinking as I watched that? Okay, if they had some shooter game and they had a gun controller, and when they pointed at the screen, you could see where the egg was going to go. If they had something like that as a shooter, that you could actually hold a plastic gun in your hand, and then that motion followed, and they put the aim on the screen, and then maybe there was a button you could run, a crouch, or hit a button to reload right on the gun. That would be something, because that would be like just at the shooting range. You know, if you had I don't want to say life-size replica in your hand, but some sort of a gun in your hand, and you could sit and fire your shots while playing the game, that would be kind of neat, I think. And that's what that game did, is pointing at the screen and then having the eggs go there. Now, if you could do that with some sort of a gun control with the connect to the move, that would be inching me closer towards the those visual games.
Right. And yeah, I don't even think a plastic gun would help that. Really, that looked awful.
That was a kid's game, and they're reaching out. Like Nick said, Ubisoft gets creative, and so they're trying some things out. So, and there was another one had a TV show going on with this stuff. So everything's got TV shows trying to integrate with their games, and whether they're giving out hints or missions or interactivity. I mean, it looks like that's where it's kind of going. The TV and video games are slowly coming together.
Something just hit me about this. That it's one of those things you realize by omission. You figure something out. Rabbids Invasion TV show, and I wrote down partnership with Xbox One. They talked about their partnership with Xbox One to make this work, which means they're not partnered with PlayStation 4. Which means that maybe there is none of this make your television like your video game, make your video game like your television. No, GamerGirl, don't call me on Gmail. Send me an email at gamehounds@gmail.com. I will email you back, and we will talk about this afterwards. We're talking about games right now, not how to make Spreaker work. Okay, so next one, they finally got back onto the serious games and debuted a new trailer for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I wish Nick was here. I am sure he wet himself. Jean Guidin came out, the creative director, says it's going to be a brutal pirate experience with Edward Kenway. You're going to explore everything the way you want it, taking part or not in various activities that have to do with being a pirate, like ship battles or exploring desert islands or going into Maya temples or whatever. Hand-to-hand combat, running your gang, drinking your rum, shivering your timbers, whatever. Yes, it is Edie Sellers. That's me, Edie Sellers, Gamer Girl. So yeah.
No, that kind of reminded me of a Captain Morgan commercial.
Did you?
Did it not?
Kind of did, but
I mean,
hotter.
If he had just put the right leg up and turned it a little bit, and had a red coat on.
Yep.
So yeah, that looked like a Captain Morgan commercial there.
Yeah.
I wonder what that one's going to be like too. I mean, I played a little bit of the one that was set in Boston. Liked it a little bit. The combat's a little clunky for me because I'm just not used to that style of combat. But but I'm wondering about this pirate one. I mean, all these games with this new technology that they're using, or better technology, whatever it is, they're getting quite open, and they're all bragging about MMOs and openness and sandbox, and
because it's clearly this is what they always wanted to do, but they didn't have the computing power to be able to do it. Now they do.
Yeah, and that's what I think it is too. So now that they have the memory and the processing power and the video RAM or whatever they need to do this, internet connections are getting better as well. So they're now opening up, and I'm hoping that the days of the choke points in the linear games are slowly coming to an end.
I would imagine, at least on the Xbox One, they will be. 360 probably still will have to deal with that because, you're limited by what you got under the hood.
Yes.
They did show in-game footage from that. It was not gameplay; it was cutscenes only, but it did look gosh darn awesome.
Yeah, it looked good. Yeah.
And Nick says in the chat room, I totally covered myself in not safe for work stuff. I'm getting to wonder what you covered yourself in, because that could be a lot of different things.
I bet his fun hand got a lot of use.
Oh, yeah. Then, and another one, I'm sorry, Nick's not here to talk about, Trials. There's going to be two new Trials games. Trials Fusion, which is on the next gen for Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, and the PC. And then a second game, Trials Frontier for mobile. They're both coming out in 2014. Introducing a whole new trick system that allows you to do the tricks up in the air. And they did say that these two different versions would interact with each other, but they didn't really go into detail about how they're going to interact. And I'm wondering, chat room, go. What do you think that how these are going to interact? Other than possibly your leveling up on your game will allow, on your console game will allow you to level up in your mobile game and vice versa. So I was not a big Trials fan.
Yeah, me either.
Gamer Girl, yes. The Gmail name attached to gamehounds@gmail.com is Edie Sellers, and it's spelled E-D-I-E, not Eddie, Edie. It's all right. I get it all the time. So, yeah. Trials didn't do much for you. What did you think?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I mean, I'm still waiting for them to remake that game. What was that Nintendo game? Excitebike?
Yes, Excitebike.
That's the only motorcycle game I really liked. Although I went down to a GameStop today and I picked up a MotoGP 07. It was like $5.
Yeah.
07. I like racing, motorcycle racing stuff there. But since Excitebike 1 really hasn't really jumped out at me, and I wasn't big into the Trials. That kind of reminds me of like all that Tony Hawk stuff. That whole X Games. That's just not down my alley.
I don't know. Trials. Well, you didn't really. Did you try the demo at all off of Xbox Live, the new Trials Evolution?
No.
You should have tried it, because it's not Xbox. It's not. It's totally not X Gamesy at all. It's all about trying to do incredibly dumb stuff and wiping out, and it's all about physics engines and your body flailing around.
That's still the X, games and skateboard bikes and
no. It's like saying
ramps and
but they were unrealistic ramps that don't live in reality. It's not like we're making the most realistic. It's the difference between Forza and Split Second. It doesn't exist. These things don't exist in the real world. The whole point is because it's so incredibly silly and stupid, and you die in just awesome ways, and then failing, and then finally you get it, and you're like, yes! It's about failing fun.
Yeah, Nick likes that type of stuff.
Yeah, he loved both of those games. And then finally, the OMT, the one more thing, was massive entertainment being brought on about Tom Clancy's Division. Fascinating idea. Concept is that, what an intro. Probably the best intro trailer for any game I've seen in a long time, that not only scared the crap out of you, but also made you think. That the world is
spooky,
perilously...
wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's...
That was like just... Too real.
Too
spooky.
real. Yeah, too real spooky. The world is on the verge of collapse, because actually we have a very complex system, and the thing about complex and it's just not our economies, but it's everything. We live in a world that's like a house of cards, where finance is connected to oil, is connected to infrastructure, is connected to transportation, is connected to trade. And if any of those things fall apart, then the whole thing starts coming down. And because our system is so complex, it is fragile, and it just takes one thing to fail, and it all kind of gets worldwide global failure. And the failure comes with a virus that is introduced, and it's true. I do know this, that a virus can last A flu virus lasts on a dollar bill for, on average, 17 days. And it's the supposition that what if there was a virus, a global pandemic, that started on Black Friday? That in a global pandemic, if you played Plague, it doesn't take long. But this global pandemic starts on Black Friday, especially with all the bills being moved around, and shuts down essentially the United States. And there is a group called The Division that's there to try and save what's left. It's not trying to save the world, because the world is done for. It's over. It's trying to save what's left of the world. And it's an MMO.
It did remind me of
PvP.
Plague Inc. because when you guys were talking about Plague Inc. on the last show, I was like, boy, that's eerily familiar. What I got confused at, because when they were talking about it, it was almost like they said this is what could happen, and then they went into the game. So I'm thinking maybe they were trying to prevent this from happening. That's how I took it at first. And then when I saw the wreckage and the chaos, I was like, well, maybe not. Because didn't he say something like this is a possible scenario? And boy, that would suck if it really happened. So I kind of thought that when they went into that they were trying to prevent that. Like they had forethought and somebody saw what was going to happen. So they were going to try to prevent that. But I guess no, it already happened.
Yeah, it's not preventing it from happening. It's actually, once it's already happened, how do you help what's left to survive and put what you have left back together again? It's the aftermath. It's a post-apocalyptic aftermath, but it's a viral apocalypse instead of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, Nick says Dark Winter would have been a way cooler name. Yeah, I'm thinking that too, Nick, that the Division is not giving me that apocalyptic
or Black Friday.
Yes, that even was really good.
It may be that both of those were already taken. I'm sure they already have.
Or Black Winter, or I don't know. But
Dark Winter, I believe, is a real thing. That was actually I don't quote me, but I got the sense that Dark Winter was a test that was run in the real world in 2007, that showed that we would all the whole United States, if there was a pandemic, that the whole United States would shut down in something like 4 days.
Yeah. Well, then we'd all die and we wouldn't have to worry about podcasting anymore.
But then we wouldn't have roast beef sandwiches with pepperoncinis. God damn, they're good.
China Jade would close.
Oh, that is a global pandemic.
That's the end of the world.
That's an apocalypse.
I mean, that's like suicide right there.
So, high points, low points?
Oh, boy. High points, I can't pinpoint one, but I do like how they're trying to work the tablets in along with the games in the new systems. And I did like the adult games that Ubisoft has, the Splinter Cells and the Division, and what was the other one there? Watch Dogs, obviously.
Right.
The other one I didn't care too much for. The crew was good too, I guess.
I think the crew. Well, here's what excites me: is seeing all of these developers. Well, these two developers. Well, all these developers, these two publishers, really busting out, making things seamless for drop in, drop out, and MMO. That blurring the lines between whether your gameplay is single player or multiplayer. And I think that that's kind of what they were angling at when they said, hey, your Xbox is going to be online all the time. And we were just kind of seeing it in this classic framework of like, well, what if I want to play single player? And here's the deal: is it's seeming like in the next generation there really isn't such a thing as a single player game. It's going to be a game that someone can drop into. You can block that out, but that people are going to be able to drop in and drop out of games and turn them single player to multiplayer and multiplayer to single player the whole time.
It almost seems like they're turning over the AI to the cloud, and that if there's somebody out there playing, they're going to drop them into your game, and so you're going to be playing multiplayer. You don't even know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that is the flip of the coin that we didn't talk about. We were just so worried about. Well, I guess our concern is that all that stuff is fine, But if like I say, if the internet goes out or my router goes down, I don't want to turn on my Xbox or my PlayStation and say, sorry, you need an internet connection to play me.
Right.
That is the fear for everybody. It's like, look, I'll be online all the time when I play because I am now. It's no big deal. But on the odd times that I'm not, or if I, move the Xbox to the bedroom and I just, want to play offline myself or whatever, you don't want to be tied.
Right, but that's the thing, is that there's no such thing as a single-player game. You don't choose single-player or multiplayer in the menus.
Well, that's how Dead Island was kind of. Mm-hmm. You played and there was people around you, and sometimes they pop into your game.
Right. And I think that's, because that whole menu system used to confuse the crap out of me, because you couldn't actually say, I want to play single player, don't want people in, or I want to play multiplayer. And if you did, it was really hard to find if you wanted to only play single player and keep everybody out. But in the case of these new games, it's going to be more like that, not better designed, but more like that experience where you don't go to the menu and say, I want to play multiplayer or I want to play single player. You just play, and then you have to go somewhere else and say, do I allow people in? Or maybe they won't let you not allow people in, which I can't imagine.
Like I say, what happens if it's all going up into the cloud and it's going to be every time you play, it's going to be going to the cloud and looking for players or whatever. I mean, what happens if you're offline? I mean, seriously.
Right.
Or if you have a slow connection that day, or if you have a connection like Nick's.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
What if you have the equivalent of a dial-up? I mean, it's just like, can you not play?
He does have a very crappy.
But Nick does make a good point here. He says with Crew, Division, and Watch Dogs, Ubisoft makes the best case connection for constant online connection.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
I say that they make a very compelling case. It's a side of the coin that we didn't see. Again, though, I like the choice of playing by myself. If I'm playing a game, sometimes I just want to kick back and play, whether it's a racing game or sport or shooter. I don't want someone coming in and kicking my ass.
Right.
That's why I put it on easy. I put it on push mode so I can enjoy the game and play and not have to worry about someone coming in and shooting me up and look at me, and then posted a video on Twitch TV. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just want to play, and you want to kick back, or you want just
in
play
Lice and Lighten days, they used to call it Smear the Queer. And yes, that's exactly what I think a lot of the things that are going to feature me is how I got myself killed very stupidly, and somebody like jumping up and down and teabagging me. It's totally going to happen that way.
Yeah, and that would suck,
Yep. So, and I think that I'm just very excited about the it makes me, I'm not over it. And who was it that said that it seems like I'm kind of over? Oh, Blacksphere Void says, I don't think goalie play. Let's see. Edie's kind of over it. Nick is busy with other games. I thought they were talking about Minecraft. Never mind.
Yeah, they are talking about Minecraft.
But it may seem like I'm kind of over the whole Xbox One always on thing. I'm not totally over it, but this last few hours has definitely started to make a case of how it benefits me as opposed to how it benefits Microsoft.
Yes.
Yeah, it's if you're gonna violate my rights, I want to at least know what I'm getting out of it. It's like, if I'm gonna get fucked, I want to know where I'm gonna get paid and how much. And it's kind of that same situation. It's like, all right, well, how are you gonna make this worthwhile to me? So we'll see. So, coming up in 45 minutes, we have another Sony. This is the one that's going to answer not all. This is the one that's going to make the big difference about whether we hate the Xbox One as much as we do. Hopefully, we will get some serious answers and more fleshing out of what the features of the PS4 are instead of all games. I would imagine it probably is. Sony usually tends to be very feature heavy at this time of the year during this event. So this is going to be the Sony keynote where we hopefully will get at least a framework of ideas of answers.
This is the big one here because Xbox, they're taking some heat. And then they had their thing there, and they didn't answer any questions. They just showed games and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
A little disappointed in Xbox. We already went through that today. But now Sony, with like somebody says, it's their E3 to lose.
Right.
Okay, so let's see what they do with this. With everything coming up and all that's come up about Xbox, and let's see what Sony does. And in the past, I haven't even watched the Sony press conferences because I don't have a PS3. I don't even have a PS2. I have a PS1 that I can't connect to the internet. Okay, I just can't figure it out. But but the PS4 where Xbox is stumbling, the door is now open for a lot of people, including myself, to finally look at PS4 and Sony and say, okay, what are you? I've seen what Xbox has, and they've disappointed me.
Right. Now impress me. And they positioned themselves at the end of the evening this late, knowing that they would be the last one of the day after everybody. They are hopefully going to live up to their position of essentially being the headliner. So, yeah.
So here's their chance to sneak out a couple of hits on their new album and get us to buy the new album.
Okay, so price quotes? Anybody? Everybody in chat room, go. Price suggestions.
Yeah. Everybody's saying the same or higher.
I'm going to say higher.
At least the last round. I know that the PS3s were higher than Xbox, weren't they? So they're not afraid.
Oh, yeah. The PS3s were like almost $600, almost $700.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is do they just stay on that same path and say, look, we're gonna charge more because we think we have a better unit, blah blah blah, and do they stay on that same path, or do they come down and go the $499, the same as the Xbox, and it's like, boy, now price is not the issue.
Nick DiNicola says $399. Thomas Brown Jr. says $399. Wow, the $399s have it.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking it's coming down there. Well, what was Xbox? $499.
$499.
So, they might maybe $479, $469 if they want to beat the Xbox. I don't think they're going down.
They won't go to $469. It's going to be a $99.
Yeah, they won't go to $399.
It'll either be $399, $499, or $599. I'm going to guess $599.
I think they're going to go. So this is $100 difference. That $100.
Yes, it's a big $100, and
it is because you start getting up to. It's even when you go to buy an iPad. It's like, geez, do I want to spend $300 for a little more memory? It's $400, a little more memory. At some point, you stop.
Yeah, in fact, it was both Nick and Thomas Brown that have both pointed out that that is what killed PS3 in the last generation, was that they came out at such a mind-bogglingly high price, and so Xbox was high, but it wasn't as high as Sony. So Xbox, that was the kind of what got Xbox into households where there had been PS3s.
Yes, yeah.
That was the price that scared me. As soon as I saw that price, I came home from the E3 and on the way home, stopped off at Fry's, bought my Xbox. Nick says $498.
I'm going. I'd like to bid $1.
$1. But Nick and Thomas said that this is a lesson that Sony has learned. I don't know that Sony has learned it.
Yeah, are they going to be arrogant and say, sorry, we're taking our fans, we're going to give them the best possible thing, and our price has to be this?
If anybody's going to misstep, if any company can wholly, completely, and totally screw this up as far as the price, it's Sony. These are the guys that can do it. They can just have their heads firmly up their asses.
Now that Xbox went $500, now what was Xbox before? $300, right?
Right.
Okay, so Xbox goes up to $500. What if they go $799? What if they go $800?
For a PS4?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Then it's over. Then we're all buying an Xbox One. There goes without saying.
Yeah, pretty much at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you just sell your Sony stock as fast as you can.
Do you think they're going to announce a price?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. I think they are.
And
if they don't, here's what I say. They are going to announce a price, but if they do not, on that outside chance, it's because they don't know what their price is right now. Because they heard Microsoft's price and they're trying to undercut them. Or Microsoft's price is so much significantly lower than theirs that they're going to try and figure out how to shave costs so that they can get close to that.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that they were looking at $5.99, and now they're going to try to find a way to get that down a little bit.
Black Sphere Void says $4.20, Bob. Pothead. He's not too, which is really funny. Thomas Brown says if their price is on par with Xbox One, Sony better allow used games and have The Last Guardian on day one launch. I know, Last Guardian, dude. It's like it's the Beyond Good and Evil for the Sony stock. It's like, why haven't I not heard anything about that? I was there when they debuted it at E3, and by the end of it, there were tears running down my face. I've never had that reaction from a trailer, and have not seen anything from it since, except a little bit at Tokyo Game Show that year, but nothing. Not even a. All
right, I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna say $5.99.
You say $5.99?
I'm gonna say $5.99, okay. And I will be. I don't want to say shocked or pleasantly surprised. I don't know what the word. If they come in and say $4.99 and they match Xbox, now it's on.
Yeah,
oh, it's on.
Then it's on. If they really want to start a war, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah, if they come in at $5.99 and you still got the battle lines drawn.
Yeah, if they come in at $4.98 and then it's on, motherfuckers, that would be hilarious. But they don't have. They're Japanese. They don't have that kind of a sense of humor. All right, so
that's on at 9. Is they probably have to watch online somewhere, right?
Yes, I'm sure they have it at Sony.com. I'm sure Spike probably will have it. If not, GameSpot will absolutely have it.
I'm going to turn on my Xbox.
GameSpot's coverage was great.
So was it GameSpot.com?
GameSpot.com, right on the front page. Yeah, GameSpot's.
Watch on iPad. Is it going to be computer?
I watched it on my iPhone. I was watching it in the back. It's running about 15 seconds too late.
Oh, that's not a big deal.
On the iPad, but yeah. I think it was closer to 20. But like when I went to the bathroom during the Black Flag thing, I couldn't hold it any longer. I was literally jiggling. I just took it into the bathroom with my iPad.
Yeah, because I was watching the Ubi one on the iPad. All right, so I might watch on the iPad. So it starts at 9. If it doesn't get done too late, send me a text and I'll see if I can jump on. But Tuesday is my early day.
Got it.
But I would like to get on and talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah. And Nick, just before we go, since you're in the chat room, do you know if you are going to be able to be back by 7 o'clock, which was probably, I'm guessing, when this thing is going to start, when we Spreaker it?
I'm hoping he says no.
Oh, yeah. No, he said he might be home by 7, but who knows? He doesn't live that far away from his work. The Twitterverse is going goddamn apeshit over, but this is the beginning of the week. This is what the week we have ahead of us.
This is the big day. This is the big day, though. After this, it kind of thins out.
Yeah, definitely. Also, if you're listening now, do want to pump this a little bit. Coming up July 25th, we are having Christmas in July, the Gamehounds Christmas in July. We will be giving away Steam codes like crazy. We haven't quite figured out how we're going to do it, but you are all going to get presents, or at least have a chance at presents from Gamehounds Claws, from Goalie Claws. There you go.
The piss boy.
Yeah. All right, so Nick will be probably back in home by 7:15.
He might join us late.
All
okay,
right, cool. And I'm gonna I may be alone. That's fine, but we'll just essentially recap stuff. Just me and the guys in the chat room. We can do it together.
We'll see. Let's see how long it goes.
Me and the tribe chat on.
If they start at 9 and they're done at 10:30 my time, I could come on for a half hour. But
sure, half hour and then bail.
Time,
Offer your 2 cents, because you will definitely have a better sense of what you like.
Well, I'm going to watch it this time, because before I would watch Xbox and I'd watch Ubisoft and EA, and that's all I really cared about.
Yeah.
So now that I'm thinking about jumping ship, I'm going to the hit from the other side, joining the dark side, or whatever euphemism you want to use. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my thing that I do.
You do so well. Yes. 10 minutes to Wapner.
I got to do my golf audio.
Yeah, go do your golf audio.
How does this sound, though?
Yeah.
Hole 1. A strong par 4 starts your round. Without a bound stretching the entire right side of the hole, you may find yourself favoring the left side of the fairway. Too far left, and you could be blocked out by severe mounding and trees. Too far right, and you can find yourself in a fairway bunker placed strategically in the landing area. What do you think?
You should do it like Jabba the Hutt would. Oh.
Mon par 4.
Mon par 4.
Bunker on the strategic landing area. Oh. You know, get birdie on this hole. Ho, 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 ho.
All right, we've definitely hit the 100-minute mark, man. My brain is so fried right now. All right, I'm gonna go try and decomp for a half hour, and then we're gonna be jumping right back into it. So we will see you in a bit. Talk to you later.
Big dump.
Bye.